Hi everyone, happy to be here with you. I'm Perpet, I'm the Hello Tomorrow Challenge and Startup Network Manager. I'll be your host today for this incredible session on the Hello Tomorrow 11th edition of our challenge. I'm today with Orlando Ramirez, who's part of my team and who's in charge of everything that is part of the Deep Tech Pioneers Network, and Birgit, who's the CEO and co-founder of Spotless Materials, who's also the winner of the Industrial Biotechs and New Material Tracks from last year, and also the second winner of the Hello Tomorrow Challenge. So we're really happy to be here with you. How are you doing, Birgit? Perfect. Guys, we'll let you a minute maybe for everyone to arrive for this session, and then we'll be starting very, very soon. But in the meantime, what we do like to do when we have this session with so many different people from coming from all over the world. So if you could just please introduce yourself in the chat, or at least tell us where you're coming from, which country, which continent you are. I'll be more than happy to travel a little bit outside of France today. We are traveling quite a lot today. Really happy to see so many different countries. So, really, really good. Perfect. So, as I was saying, nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Puppet. I'm the Hello Tomorrow Challenge and Startup Network Manager at Hello Tomorrow. I'll be your host today for our 11th for our session of Ask Me Anything session for the 11th edition of the Hello Tomorrow Challenge. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the agenda of the day. We'll be starting with a quick introduction of Hello Tomorrow, who we are, what we do, how we are supporting deep tech startups, and then we'll go through what there is for you at the. By the way, can you see my screen well? Up. Let me try something else and make it a little bit bigger. Up. It should be better now. Yes, perfect. So we'll go through a session and talk a little bit about what is Hello Tomorrow, what we do for our deep tech pioneers, and what we do for our networks. What is it for you when you apply to the Hello Tomorrow challenge? Why you should apply, when you should apply, and who can apply. So basically, our big W's. And we'll go after that a little bit through the parkour and what Birgit went through with our winner for the industrial and biotechs and new material tracks. So first of all, what is Hello Tomorrow and what we do? Basically, if we had to sum up what we do at Hello Tomorrow, we are a link between all the deep tech ecosystem networks. So basically, we are connecting startups, corporates, investors, institutionals, accelerators, incubators with all the most relevant and with the most innovative deep tech startups. So basically, what we do is we have three different departments. One department with consulting, where we help corporates to innovate and understand their ecosystem. Another one, Deep Bright Ventures, which is quite new. We are basically now able to fund the different startups. And the part that we will be focusing today, it's mostly about ecosystem and events, and the Hello Tomorrow Challenge, which today is having its 11th edition. And by the way, I'm seeing that there are already quite a lot of questions in the chat. So feel free to ask them. Our team will be able to reply to your question during the session, and we'll also be collecting some of the questions for during the Q&A part. Perfect. So what is it, the Hello Tomorrow Challenge, and how is it actively going? So basically, each year we have around 4,000 to 5,000 applications coming from 128 countries. This number could be a little bit frightening, but it's also assured that we are basically collecting deep tech application and going more or less everywhere on the planet to collect the most innovative startups and help them have a chance to go basically to the next step of their development, the next step of their funding, and have the newest opportunity. We'll go a little bit later into everything that is Deep Tech Pioneers. Right after, Orlando will be able to share some few words with you about this community and what we can achieve for the startups. So as for the process, basically each year we are collecting 4,000 to 5,000 applications coming from 128 countries. We'll be then selecting the startups according to a specific number of criteria. I'll go a little bit deeper into that later in the presentation. What's coming after is once we have our Deep Tech Pioneers, so the best of the best startups of each year, we'll be selecting around 80 finalists. And this finalist, Birgit was one of them, will have the opportunity to pitch during the Hello Tomorrow Summit. Last year, the summit was in Paris. Next year, it will be in Amsterdam. So it will be even bigger, even more international, and even more deep tech. And there we'll be selecting, and our juries will be voting for the top deep tech pioneer startups in each track. But you might be wondering what we are calling deep tech pioneers and what there is behind this word. So it's basically our top program for the best deep tech startups, and I'll let Orlando tell you a little bit more about it.
Thank you, Bhupesh. Yeah, so the Deep Tech Pioneers program is what I would like to say is like a community. We're not per se an accelerator program, however, it's a community of the best global deep tech startups that have applied to the global challenge. We aim to make this community very collaborative and very engaging between each other. Some of the benefits of joining the Tech Pioneers, as Bhupesh already mentioned, from applying every year, we select around 600 to 800 companies. These companies have the benefit to connect with our network of investors, CVCs and VCs, which are around 1,300 at the moment, but this number is always increasing. We share very good relationship with these investors. So if we want to request an introduction, they normally invite us to some types of events and great visibility for us. Naturally, the Deep Tech Pioneers get saved into our database at Hello Tomorrow, which means we normally use your data, your information, for when corporations who we're really in good relationship with, such like global corporations in fashion, in aerospace, in the industry in general, for car manufacturing, for example, machinery. These corporations come to us saying, hey, what's happening? What's new in, I don't know, the new synthetic leather materials? Well, we have a database for this, thanks to all the applications of our Deep Tech Pioneers. And we aim this to make like an introduction, to make some type of reports that turn out to be very good relationships between the Deep Tech Pioneers and the corporations that work with us. Also, in terms of events, you get created invites to the Tech Pioneer events and Deep Tech events around the world. We can't always be there, given we're a global company. However, we have very good relationship with accelerators and incubators around the world. So For example, we just sent an invitation a couple of weeks ago for an event for deep tech with investors in Zurich, in Switzerland. A couple of months ago, we had a talk with a consortium of Brazil to have these kind of introductions with Brazilian companies. We've done this with the UK and even with some of Asia. So this is at the end of the day, it's a great community for accessibility, for connections with the world, and for you to make the most out of your company, not only with the network that we have, but also between each other. Just to say a little bit of statistics, healthcare is, I would say, most of our sectors, but energy and mobility are a close second and third, and the rest of them are very well diversified between manufacturing, biotech, computing, and food and ag. Naturally, with all of these artificial intelligence tracks and technologies, we are seeing more of the advanced computing and electronics. However, AI is always applied to all of the other technologies, which helps diversify these. As per locations, most of our corporations and companies come from Europe. However, North America is a very good source for them. Actually, Birgit, who is joining us here right now, is joining us from the US right now. In terms of technology readiness level, most of them are located between level 3 and 5, which would be around scientific proof of concept all the way towards building a first prototype or a minimum viable product. In terms of funding rounds for last year's cohort, most of them we like to get companies quite early stage, so most of them had no equity funding. However, that doesn't mean they've not no funding at all. Most of them have worked their way to get grants. They've got very good reputations with universities. So some of them are university spin-offs, and a big part of them are also in the pre-seed funding already with equity. So that's a little bit of what we do, and a little bit of the benefits that are included in the pioneers. We most recently got some partnerships with and we're working with other service provider partnerships. So, for example, for equity management, for some types of cloud computing, is some types of the benefits that we want to include to the pioneers. And this is all for free. So it's not, we don't take any equity from startups. We don't get charged any type of money for joining this community, and it will stay like this. That's the idea, is just to collaborate and to animate the deep tech ecosystem. So yeah, that's most of it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask on the chat. Thank you, Popej.
Perfect. Thank you, Orlando, for this very clear presentation about the deep tech pioneers. So just to quickly give you an highlight of what there is also behind the community, those are the partners that were supporting the last edition of the Hello Tomorrow Challenge. Some of them are coming back. Some of them are we are adding also a lot of new partners, but it's also to give you a highlight of who you can connect with throughout participating to the Hello Tomorrow Challenge. And it's also a huge highlight in terms of visibility with a lot of different corporates and investors throughout the world. So it's time to go and deep dive into the topic and answer our three main questions, our three main W's. Who can apply, when can you apply, and why you should apply. So basically, regarding the Hello Tomorrow Challenge, there are three main criteria. The first one is, of course, innovation. Whether you are working on a product or a service, this must be based on a new technology or a new scientific discovery or complex and enduring process. We can cover all the industry. As you can see, there are 13 new tracks this year, and anybody working in a deep tech field can definitely work and apply to the Hello Tomorrow Challenge. Second part, is regarding the stage of development. Orlando covered it through the DTP network, but we are mostly working in early stage. For us, it means that early stage startups are not, those are startups that are working in different fields that have, for instance, up to a Series A or funding round. If you are a little bit higher, it's not forbidden for you, but you are less likely to be earning a title or winning the competition, since we are mostly focusing on the early stage rate. Also, really important, we are at Hello Tomorrow. Impact is basically part of our DNA, and it's really important for us to support startups that will have a long-lasting impact, whether this impact is on the society, on healthcare, on environmental impact, or industrial impact. But this is something that will be really, really focusing on, and you have to be impactful. And the more impactful you are, the bigger your chance are to win the Hello Tomorrow Challenge. Regarding also some big new changes that we are doing, we have an additional track that we started last year, the Emerging Pioneer. It is coming back. It's actually for the startups that are early stage, but even more early stage. Let's take an example: a startup that will be a university spin-off might not always be that might not always have the highlight that they deserve, and therefore we created this new track in order to give some highlight to the startups that are a little bit more early stage, including the university spin-off. So basically, they will also have the opportunity to go on stage and to be pitching. And as it is kind of the focus of the years that we are currently working on, AI Horizon is a new track that will be starting this year. So basically, it will be the sum up of all the AI technologies that we have in advanced computing, in food and ag, in industrial biotech, in semiconductor, in climate tech. And all this AI technology will be centralized into this new track, AI Horizon, in order to celebrate the best AI startup that we have around the world. And as for the evaluation criteria, it's basically linked to what I was telling you a little bit earlier. We are talking about technological innovation, impact, economic viability, and team. So for the technological innovation, of course, you have to be innovative and being able to create your own technology and your own innovation. That's something that will be really evaluating. Impact, as I was telling you, it's within the DNA of Hello Tomorrow, so we will have a look at it. Economic viability, because even though we are helping startups to go to the next stage, we are also making sure that those startups have a future and that they are stable enough to basically being able to change the world the way they see fit. And last but not least, the team, which is basically the mix between the three different other evaluation criteria. We need to make sure that your team is balanced between business profile and scientific profile. We are also looking and evaluating the support system that you have, so the board and who is basically supporting you throughout your startup journey. Now that we covered who can apply, it's time to go through basically the timeline and when you can apply and when everything will be happening. So this will be really important for you, but no worries, everything is also on the Hello Tomorrow website. So as far as the timeline, as you know, the challenge has been live since the 15th of September. So I can already see that many of you already apply. I'm really happy about that. And I hope that this number will grow even more throughout the coming days. So basically, from September till the very end of November, till the 30th of November, you'll have the opportunity to apply to the Hello Tomorrow Challenge. So you have all these months. Feel free to apply as soon as possible and submit your application as soon as possible, because you never know, and time can fly really, really fast. And throughout these months, If you have any question regarding the application process or anything like that, our team will always and also be available to reply to your questions. What's going to be happening between the end of November and beginning of January? Our evaluation team will be analyzing all your application and selecting the deep tech pioneers, the new wave of the deep tech pioneers, as Orlando was telling you a little bit earlier. So during this time, we'll have those evaluation, and we'll be announcing the new wave of deep tech pioneers around the 15th of January 2026. It seems far away, but it will happen very, very soon. Once it will be happening, the deep tech pioneer will have around 2 weeks to update their applications in order to improve it, maybe add new detail about their business, because it would be around a little bit less than 6 months. So maybe your business grew, maybe you had a little bit more of traction or anything like that. So it will be the time for you to update your application. Why that? Because between the months of January and March, we'll be having a second wave of evaluation where our external network and the Hello Tomorrow team will be analyzing a second time your application and will be defining who will be among the finalists of the Hello Tomorrow Challenge. Last year, we had 7 finalists per track. We were around 80 finalists last year. So those are the finalists that will be decided with our external network. So it's really important once you are a deep tech pioneer to not stop the process here and to continue and update once again your application if you want to be part of the finalists. Talking about the finalists, the final will be happening in June on the 11th and 12th of June 2026 in Amsterdam. So we are really looking forward to it. And it will be quite a really nice experience for the startup to be pitching on stage. And I hope that Birgit will be able to tell you a little bit more about it right after. And talking about the challenge, let's go a little bit more about why you should apply, even though Orlando told you a little bit about it. But basically, our value proposition is mostly about 3 different aspects: the connection, the visibility, the funding. Why that? Because we talk with startups and we know that's the biggest struggle that we have. And this is where Hello Tomorrow can bring a lot of value to the startups. Regarding the connection, as I was telling you, we have quite a lot of corporates behind us, of big pharma, of big firms that are enjoying deep tech startups, and that want to help deep tech startups to go to the next stage. So basically, we can do specific connection with you between different corporates and different investors. We are also bringing a lot of our deep tech pioneers through many different events. Orlando was telling you right before about the Food and Ag event that we did, where a lot of our startups were able to pitch in front of a delegation from a Saudi Arabia country. On top of that, we are also making sure that we have specific face-to-face meeting. It's mostly happening during the Hello Tomorrow Summit. So that's also very important for you to be able to join the summit and make sure that you get the best connection, because basically the Hello Tomorrow Summit is, you need to imagine that everyone on the deep tech planet will be there during the summit, whether they are investor, whether they are corporates, incubators, scientists, startups. It's such an amazing time, and I really hope that some and most of you will be there with us next year in Amsterdam. Talking about the other benefits, we also have quite a lot of visibility. One of it is that for the startup that will be selected as finalists, they will have the opportunity to pitch on stage. It was such a fun experience, and I hope that Birgit, who had the opportunity to pitch quite a lot during the Hello Tomorrow Challenge and during the Hello Tomorrow Summit, will be able to share experience with you. On top of that, we also have some specific exhibition and showcase for all of our deep tech pioneers. So that's a lot, and that's a really good opportunity for you to share your innovation and present what you are currently doing. And on top of that, we also have quite a network of international medias that will be present during the summit and outside of the summit. They are mostly, and they are they are also asking for news and for information regarding different startups, and we are always willing to share the news from our startups. And on top of that, last but not least, being recognized as a deep tech pioneers has also awards in the industry. So it's also something that is very valuable for quite a lot of startups. And it's basically a seal of approval. It's saying that Hello Tomorrow values you and Hello Tomorrow believes in your innovation. So it's something that is quite helpful. But I know that you are all wondering about it, something that is really important for you guys, and we know it's the funding. So basically, we have also quite a huge network in terms of VCs, LPs, and CVCs that are supporting us and that are really close to the Hello Tomorrow deep tech startups. They are always each year very curious to know which is a new wave of Hello Tomorrow Deep Tech Pioneers. And all these VCs, I mean, some of them will also be present during the Hello Tomorrow Challenge, during the Hello Tomorrow Summit, when we'll be having our Investor Day. What is Investor Day? Investor Day is basically a matchmaking event between startups and VC and CVC. So basically, we'll have around 350 startups and around the same number of VC that could be present, and they will have an entire day of matchmaking in order for you to basically meet them, pitch to them, and create your future contacts. And last but not least, as we had in the previous year, we have a grand prize of 100K for the grand winner of the Hello Tomorrow Summit. This is something that we know is also very valuable to you. It's not string attached, so it's entirely a gift for us to you to recognize all the work that you did and celebrate you as a winner. So here we are for the financial perks, for the global visibility and the connection. You have everything that you need now to work and to pimp your application. I think it's time for me to let the star of the show talk a little bit more and share with us our experience of the Hello Tomorrow Challenge and Summit. Birgit, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Fred. Yeah, and great to connect with all of you here. Excited to see all the questions. Um, I think I'll start quickly introducing myself, and then I can talk about my experience um, uh, applying and going to the summit and the challenge. So very briefly, so I'm Maria Bosnich. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Spotless Materials. Are you guys getting an echo? Can you hear me?
Yes, there is a bit of an echo when you're talking.
Okay, I'm not sure why. Um, I'll put my headphones in, see if that happens. Um, let's try this. Can you hear me? Oh, great.
Yes, it seems to be okay. Have a try.
Okay, sounds good. So yes, I'm Birgit Basic, co-founder and CEO of Spotless Materials. And my background is in mechanical engineering, and our company develops and sells PFAS-free nonstick coatings. So we were applying under that pitch, and Pupej already greatly described the application process, so I won't go into that. But yeah, so we had founded the company in 2018, and we started selling product in 2019. So, and right before the pitch with the Hello Tomorrow, we had seen an increase in um, sales about 12,000% thanks to exciting feature in the New York Times. So, just one more pause. Sorry, I'm getting feedback for myself. Can you hear that, Puped?
On
We
my
we can hear you well. No worries.
Okay. Okay. So if I'm a little distracted, I just hear myself twice. So I'll try not to. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So that was our. That's who we are. We had been in business, like I said, since 2018. And so we'd been a little bit further along, but we had seen companies from across different uh, ages uh, and stages. So, so yeah, so that's a little bit about us. Um, I guess I can talk a little bit about the pitch first. We had a lot of so like again, like Pipette said, I was coming from the US. Really exciting to get to travel um, to France. That was such a wonderful experience. Um, and like Pipaj had mentioned, I got to see companies from many different countries, many different um, uh, uh, stages, and I had actually recognized many companies that I had seen before in other settings. So this was certainly a program that was drawing the best of the best from different sectors. And I had been drawn to the Hello Tomorrow Challenge and to apply to the Hello Tomorrow Challenge because I'd heard about it. I actually first learned about it in 2019 when I was just finishing up I went through Y Combinator with my company. So I just finished that program and learned about Hello Tomorrow. I didn't get to apply at that time because I'd learned about it after the deadline. But it was so attractive to apply because of the emphasis on, for us in the material space, the emphasis on green tech and promoting deep tech, which is fairly rare in my experience. Finding investors, finding programs, finding non-dilutive funding that supports deep tech, and then primarily clean tech and advanced materials in my particular case. Um, so yeah, so that's what drew me to the program, and as a founder in the US, I'd say that in my field, I'd say the Hello Tomorrow Challenge has a really great reputation. So it was really exciting to finally apply, and even more exciting to have been um, accepted to the program, and then of course continually more exciting to have won our category, and then getting second place in the program overall. So that was very, very, very wonderful, surreal experience for me. Um, I guess I'm happy to answer questions about my company, but very briefly, like I said, we were an advanced materials company. We make the PFAS-free non-stick coatings, and so our pitch was heavily centered around uh, being the default alternative to Teflon and PFAS and PFOA types of material. Um, and so that also placed us in I believe it was the new materials category. It was new materials and it was industrial biotech and new materials. So, like I mentioned, that a lot of colleagues that I had seen in other settings before at that program. So really cool to really humbled to be there. And then I got to meet new founders as well from other categories that I had not met, and I listened in on some of those pitches before I had to go to mine, so I could kind of get a sense for what it was like. Um, so maybe now that I've briefly introduced my company, I'll say one more thing about my company. I think what maybe was a little bit unique about us was that we are sort of two companies in one. We are very much rooted in technology. We developed this technology first at Penn State, and then also continued the development internally at our company. But we're sort of two companies in one. So one unique thing about us was We had also started selling a consumer product, but we are very much growing with industrial partners as well. So we had that kind of experience. Shifting gears to the experience at the summit, at the summit itself and the challenge itself, I think of a few salient benefits from going through from one being accepted into the program and being a finalist that was able to pitch. That led to a decent amount of exposure. Certainly exposure to other industrial representatives that were at the event itself at the summit. That was really valuable for us. A key thing that we need support with at the company is just facilitating connections with industrial partners, getting that in. And the program and being able to pitch was that first leg and first foot in the door for us to be able to meet many different industrial partners. Pej and Orlando can talk about how many people were at the event, but I ended up shortlisting 7 high quality industrial leads out of many other meetings that I'd had before. So those are the ones that this is a clear fit, and I can have continued conversations with these Fortune 500 company representatives that not only were there, but were also looking for solutions or were the right contacts. They were maybe director of technology or similar type of position looking for um, solutions for ours. So really, really, really good there. The other benefit that I found from going through just the pitch was uh, in addition to exposure to these high quality industrial connections, was exposure to high quality founder to founder connections. So I actually made a really, really wonderful connection with another founder who wasn't actually pitching, but he was at the summit. And it turned out to be my co-founder's postdoc colleague's co-founder. So really like friendly connection there that I didn't know I was going to make. And was actually going through a very similar set of company experiences that we were going through. So we had just recently experienced a huge surge in orders. The feature PR piece had led to like a 12,000% increase in sales for us. We were kind of in scramble mode a few months prior, and we'd experienced the same thing. So it was really extremely, and with product that had similar preparation and production requirements. So it was really, really valuable connection there. Um, I'd say, and then after that, just the exposure of placing, winning in our category was huge. Again, for both for investor connections, for and more industrial connections, and of course winning the event just uh, propelled us further into that getting those types of connections. I actually made a friend connected with someone who's just lives 20 minutes away from me at this event in France. So that was very cool to see. And then I'd say another thing that's been, of course, the non-dilutive funding is amazing. That's something that you don't see very much these days. So that was a huge benefit for us as well. Um, and I think those are the main things I could think of. I actually ended up bringing my family. I have a toddler. I was pregnant at the time I pitched, so now I have another little one. But I brought my whole family with me, and my husband, who's also running his own startup in the financial space, also made an investor connection throughout the peripheral events at the summit. So really, it was a great experience for all of us, not just for me, but also for my husband who does not participate in the challenge. So maybe I'll pause there. Because I know I talked a lot, so
No, perfect. I think it was really insightful for a lot of startups. And I think it's also time to share another news of what's going to be happening for you and regarding the benefits also from Hello Tomorrow. We launched a new partnership with Switch and Slingshot 2025, which is another competition that is happening in Singapore. And part of the benefits of this competition is that we are also allowed to select one of our winners of the Hello Tomorrow Challenge to go directly into the final of this challenge. So Birgit and Spotless Pro Materials will be going to the finals of the Switch 2025, Slingshot 2025 in Singapore in October, at the end of October 2025, where you'll have the opportunity to pitch on stage, to meet with investors there in Singapore and different corporates. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I was so excited to have been. I know it's a new program, so I was really thrilled to have been selected. When I saw your email saying that you're us, because I felt so honored. I obviously had a very positive experience with the Hello Tomorrow challenge, and so getting to participate in a similar challenge in Singapore was just an honor. So I'm very very excited. Very cool to see they're of course it's similarly structured, and I won't go into it because we're talking about Hello Tomorrow, but they have similar prize money, and yeah, it's certainly a program that would be very valuable to a startup like ours. Um, uh, uh, Looking for, I've never been to Singapore, so it's like also just kind of fun to look forward to that. I'm hoping I can go. It might be me or my co-founder, just because I have a little baby. But yeah, it sounds like similar, just the exposure to um, uh, other investors and other potential corporate partners. And as startups, we're always looking for those things. So very excited about that.
Perfect. I mean, we wish you luck. We saw you pitching, so we'll know that you'll do great, and we'll be there to applaud you when you go on stage. But Birgit, quick question. Now that you've been through the Hello Tomorrow Challenge, the Hello Tomorrow Summit, what would be your advice for a successful application for a startup that is listening to us right now?
That's a really great question. Obviously, everyone here knows their business best, and I'd say just present your company as with full confidence. For us, I think it helped a lot. Um, I'd say one thing: start early. The first time I applied, in 2019 when I learned about the program, I learned about it the day before the deadline, and I didn't. It wasn't enough time to give a solid application. So I'd say give yourself time to fill it out and fill it out well. But the questions are questions like you know the answer to, like what is the problem, what is the solution, and of course how this fits into deep tech challenges in your sector. For us, it was very much how do we make not only uh, not only emphasizing the market opportunity and the billion-dollar opportunity, but also emphasizing the impact, which as a side note I really love about the Hello Tomorrow challenge, because it's not just it's not just about the company growth, which absolutely it is, but it's also about what impact is this going to have on the world. So definitely having that two-pronged strong answers that kind of communicate those two things. For us, I think also just not holding back on the strengths of your team. That's I you could the organizers will know best what stood out to them, but for us, I think that was a strength that we had, so we really just doubled down on that. And then when we applied, we did not have, I guess we didn't yet have the revenue growth that we experienced at the time we pitched, so maybe that was new information. So yeah, I think there are probably a lot of questions that you have seen before on um, any other pitch opportunities that you've looked at, but really emphasizing like also what is the impact on the future of the world. Hello Tomorrow, it's in the name. So and I'm sure everyone who's applying is going to be thinking about that already. So maybe that's my simple advice.
That's a really good advice, Birgit, and it's also linked to one of the questions that was seen in the chat. What's the advantage of an early submission? Basically, is to have time, because you won't have the opportunity to apply like 3 times during the year. So basically, you go to your application, you do it, you submit it. If you need to change it afterwards, you can still contact us and do some updates. But basically, it's really important that you take enough time to submit the application form. It's not that long. I think it's taking around like 1 or 2 hours to be completed. But the earlier you do it, the more time you have to rethink about it, to maybe change it, or if you have some doubts, feel free to contact our team. Will be more than happy to give you some highlight and to answer your doubts. But the earlier you do it, the better it is, because otherwise, if you do it 2 days before the deadline, might not be always like the best solution. But it can be a really successful experience for you if you reply and submit it early on time. We had another question. It's basically regarding what happens if your project falls under 2 tracks. So I don't know if Birgit, you had the question whether you were supposed to apply in industrial biotechs or on other tracks, or was it clear since the beginning for you?
Yeah, I think for us, it was a little bit clear because there was like a new materials category. But like I mentioned, we are sort of two companies in one. We were selling consumer product, and we also um, work with industrial partners to incorporate our coding into their end product. So you could say we're a direct to consumer company, or you could say, you know, an advanced materials company working with industrial partners. For us, it kind of came down to like what's the ultimate vision, and for us, the ultimate vision is to create a PFAS-free non-stick coating that's integrated and ubiquitous in the world. So that kind of put us in the new materials our technology is what put us in the new materials category, so that kind of made it a little bit simpler. Um, so I think I'd say pick what's the most salient um,
Yeah,
value proposition that you have and apply that way.
definitely. And on that point, also be no risk, because on that side, for instance, if you were to be, I don't know, selecting the wrong category, the wrong one, first of all, we have the description of all the tracks on the website. So feel free to have a look at it and to have a deeper look into what we have some idea of different topics, but sometimes you are creating your new topics. So it's a little bit more complicated, but we have already on the website a list of different topics and a list of different keywords and so on that will be helping you to match into the correct track. And then, second of all, we could still be throughout the evaluation process. If we are thinking that you have like best chance in another tracks, that's something that we can also do. We can redirect your application in the most relevant tracks for you and where you have the best chances of winning. So it happens from time to time, but most of the time, startups manage to find the correct categories for them. And I think I have one question, but I think we can reply to this question a little bit together. Are these connection and network benefits all around the summit, or are there additional platform, network, matchmaking services of any kind throughout the year? So I was talking about basically your experience going to switch in Singapore in a month. So that's also part of the benefits that are outside of the summit, but there is also quite a lot of connection that we do throughout our newsletter. Basically, if a startup is willing, is planning on raising some fund in the coming, I don't know, weeks, months, they can share this information with us and we'll share it directly throughout our network of investor in order to help. We also have some connection throughout the year with the different projects that we do. I don't know if you want to add anything else, Birgit, on that level.
Yeah, I guess one other thing to add was at the beginning you mentioned the Deep Right Ventures. I know that's new. I got to connect with them as well. So we are actively fundraising. So Prupej, I might send you another email after this. But yes, that was just a nice additional investor to add to our funnel. So that's one that I'd add there.
Perfect. No, that's definitely something to add, and we are really proud to be finally able to invest on the startup that we are promoting each year. So we are really happy to have DeepBright and to be able to already invest on really good startups. I'm just seeing some quick question regarding the Hello Tomorrow Japan. Basically, we also have a local challenge. We have a local challenge in Japan and a local challenge in Turkey. What's going to be happening is if you are a startup in Japan, you will be asked to apply to the Hello Tomorrow challenge. And once you do that, why is it a benefit? Because you'll be able to go through the Japan process. And since they are doing their own summit and their own pitching, you'll have like the benefits of the two challenges, because you'll be selected as a DTP. So being a DTP, a deep tech pioneers, you'll also have access to all the benefits that we're talking about, but you also have the opportunity to be seen on a national level, meaning on Japan, since you'll be able to pitch on their stage during their finals. So it's a double benefit that you have if you are part of the Japan ecosystem. And I think I do also have a question for you, Birgit. What was your experience and the best memory that you had during the Hello Tomorrow Summit?
I love that question. So one of the most vivid memories I have is when I go to the category, you have to go from a slightly longer pitch to a 1 minute pitch for the final round. And when I learned that I'd won the category, I was so excited. And then I was like panicked that I had to make a new a new pitch. It was a very cool experience. It's not a negative in any way. It was more of like a wow, like this is really like next level. So I had been practicing, and I remember walking back and forth, just like practicing my pitch out loud, just walking around. So that was a very vivid memory that I have. But a few memories stick out to me. One was pitching on the stage, on the main stage, on the track, the category stage. There's so many people, so that was kind of just a powerful experience to be able to pitch. And then pitching on the main stage, Hello Tomorrow Challenge, just the organizers do such an amazing job making it feel like such a grand experience. Video cameras like moving around on very like professional audio visual equipment. There had the fog machines, and I felt very it was very surreal. I was also very grateful that they dimmed the crowd, so I couldn't actually see everyone I was I was presenting. But those were just some like standout memories. Of course, like getting second place overall was fantastic. I'd mentioned that I brought my family. It was actually the day that I got second place. Was also my 10-year wedding anniversary, and my family was all there, so they were all
Wow.
very proud of me. And afterwards, after the huge celebration, afterwards, I had another anniversary celebration. Went to a restaurant nearby, and so it was just a very happy memory for me overall for many reasons. But I think pitching on the stage was the coolest. Was the coolest.
Perfect. We are getting really close to the end of our session. Sadly, it went really, really fast. So I'll try to reply to one or two last questions that we had. Basically, I'm seeing a lot of questions regarding the application form. My advice would be try to fill out and try to put as many information as possible. Better to share too much information than not enough. Make sure that, for instance, when you're talking about your traction, even small clients, it's a good idea because it's also showing us that you have someone and that you have some experience, and that even though like the client is not incredibly huge, it's still something that proves that you are able to to put a fit into the market, and that's something that is really important for us. And whether your development stage, I'm seeing some question regarding development stage. Also, it depends because some of the startups are, I don't know, working in specific industry where it's really not easy, but it's more accessible to get to the MVP or to the industrialization stage. Sorry. But from some of the startups, it's okay because, for instance, if you're working in healthcare or working on the creation of a new molecule or something very new, we know that it's not always as easy to move from the stage of the ID to the proof of concept to the MVP. So feel free to apply. Basically, come as you are, and it will be working very, very well for us. We have 1 minute remaining, so I'll let you say a last word, Birgit, and then after that, I'll be closing this session.
Okay, yeah. Well, thank you so much. I just encourage everyone to apply. The Hello Tomorrow challenge was so impactful for our company, and certainly meaningful from a funding perspective, but also a lot of fun. I mean, it's great to meet the organizers. It's great to meet the other winners. It's and finalists. And it's great to meet the people at the summit. So definitely apply.
Thank you, Birgit. So I hope that you had all the information that you needed to understand the challenge and to apply to the next edition. I was really happy to be here with you, Birgit, with you, Orlando. It was my pleasure to host this session, this Ask Me Anything session. We'll be having other session before the end of the challenge. And to all the startups, we'll be sharing information, we'll be sharing this presentation, and we'll be also sharing some of the question that you had. And if you have any specific question, feel free to contact us in the coming months. And I'm really happy to be here with you. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to host this session. And I'll be really looking forward to looking at all of your applications. I know that you're doing great, and I'm really happy to help you change the world. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day. Bye.